Well, in this past year and a half, I mentioned this yesterday at All Saints Mass. Working with our tech ministry, we put together 365 videos of saints, a saint for each of the day. And you can see them on our website if you so choose. But in doing preparation for 365 saints over the course of the year, I read an awful lot about the saints, more than I ever thought I ever would. And over a time, you realize that what you're reading about the saints, by and large, was not written by the saints. They were written by people who either knew the saints or remembered the saints and wanted us to know about them. And so when they would write about the saints, they would say things like, well, she prayed. And whenever anyone needed some help, she was there. Another person would write, he had great empathy. And when people had a loss, he would stay there with them and hug them and cry with them and pray with them. That when someone was alone, she would come and sit there and talk and make sure that person knows that they weren't alone, that someone was with them. That people in need, people lonely, people in pain, people who are just confused and just seeking some wisdom, that this saint or that saint, he or she, men and women, old people, young people, saints of all countries and saints of all ages, that they had all of those things in common, that they would talk about how these saints were always there for someone in one capacity or another. Sometimes they specialized in being there in hospital ministry. Sometimes they were there because they fed the poor. Sometimes they were there because they were in jail and were visited. Sometimes they were just wonderful family people. And their life was just an inspiration to others. And in preparation for All Souls Day, I began to think about how when we get together with every family, and almost every single one of you have either met with me or met with Pam in the office, and we'd sit down and we'd ask you to write some things down about your loved one. Tell us something that you would like to share, something you would like to remember. In some instances, some of you here would give that eulogy yourselves. In other instances, you'd have me do it. But in either case, there was an amazing commonality in what all of you wrote. What you all wrote about your loved ones was, well, he always was there for us. He came to every game. She was always there for us and cooked us beautiful meals. When I was sad, they both were there to comfort me and hug me and tell me how much they loved me. All the wonderful and beautiful things you wrote about your loved ones were the exact same things the people who wrote about the saints wrote about the saints. And ladies and gentlemen, if you don't believe me, go to our website and every day do a saint of the day. It takes 2.5 minutes. And you'll begin to pick up on that. You'll begin to realize that what made them saints were saintly qualities: compassion, love, empathy, sympathy. These are the things that you wrote about your loved ones. Consequently, it seems to me that what we remember about our loved ones is not how much money they made or how big was their house. Those things are irrelevant. What matters is what touches us down deep. And those are all those beautiful saintly qualities. You know, I'm not saying everyone is a saint, but I'm saying everyone has the capacity to be one. And I'm saying that because of what you remembered, and you think about the things you remember, those are the things that are going to last. That's what's going to save the test of time. That's what's going to matter. And most importantly, that's what's going to matter to God. Because Jesus came to us not to make us rich or powerful. He came here so that he could show how much he loved us and cared about us and healed us from the great sin of death itself and bring us the capacity not only to receive his love, but to love others just like all the people you wrote about loved you. So on this beautiful All Souls Day, I think a great thing to do in the next couple of days is talk about all the wonderful things you wrote about your loved one. Think about those saintly qualities, and then take a deep look into yourself and say, am I living that way? When someone is lonely, am I there to visit? Am I willing to take that call and listen to what they have to say? If someone is hungry, am I willing to bring them a basket of food? If someone is sick, am I going to at least pray for them? Am I going to show those saintly qualities in my own life? Because this much, ladies and gentlemen, I believe to the bottom of my soul is true, that is how we show others God's love. The same love that all of us believe God has for every one of us. So take the time out and think about the things you wrote and about the things said about your loved ones, and then emulate in your life and be the compassionate and loving people as they were to you, so that when the time comes, first of all, when your day comes to have a eulogy, they'll say beautiful things about how loving and compassionate you were, and most importantly, the most important thing at all, living a life like that, well, may the gates of heaven open up wide, and all the names on that sheet who we commemorate today will be on the other side of that gate, so that when it opens, you'll be with them forever. And any sadness you feel today will be replaced with feelings of great joy, because you'll be with those loved ones again forever in the presence of our Savior, the Lord Jesus Christ.